Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Southern Gateway Chorus live stream. My name is Zach Ullman,
Yeah, I'm Joe Hunter, and
and
welcome.
we have got a fun show today. I'm excited about it.
Me
Let's
too.
let's not even let's not mince any words. Let's just get to it. We have a very special guest for you, Joe. Tell them who it is.
The last I looked, it was Peter Nuschel. We were originally going to have Pete on last week, but for various reasons, mainly technical, it never happened. But anybody who knows, a long, long time barber shopper, that means he's old, just like me, member of the founding member of the 139th Street Quartet,
That's right.
maybe one of the most artistically influential quartets, and certainly one of my biggest influences and heroes.
Sure.
And also very involved in a lot of multiple type media situations because they're living in Southern California, right where you guys live. They had some opportunities to get out and do things and help to represent. And also one of the original founders, along with Jimmy Klein, of the college contest. And the original college contest, which I love that original, the way it was set up, the way it was originally set up. Well, we could talk about that a little while. But anyway, so we're really excited to have the Pete on tonight to have a little bit of a chat and to have kind of a free range conversation.
Oh God. We all know that's gonna go well. Well, Pete, it's nice to have you on, man. Thanks for being here.
Nice to be here.
So, tell me, I guess. I don't even know where I want to start with this. I guess let's start with the start, right? How did 139 start? Where did it come from? What happened?
Well, what happened was that Jimmy and I formed a quartet. I can't look at this because my lips are going.
Just like different, yeah.
So we formed a quartet. And it never got off the ground. It kind of fell down. And then we're going, oh, gee, what are we going to do? And then we knew that the Far Westerners had broken up, and I guess they kicked out Earl Moon or something. I don't know what they did. And so we went, well, these guys, I don't know. And so we said, oh, well, okay, let's get together one night and we'll just do it. So we called them over. We said, okay. And then we sat down and we got together. We sat down and we sang one song and went, okay, that's it. So there was never any adjustments or anything. That's just the way it sounded from day one. So we never had a coach. We never had nothing. We didn't do anything. We just, here's a song. We learned the song, and that's how it came out.
No contract signings or anything, Peter. Just like it just happened, right?
No, there was nothing. So and we sang, and then we started writing stuff, and I think that we were sort of coming from, we're coming from here. So we were like, Doug and I are both water polo players, and Doug was on the national water polo team at UCLA, and
wow.
And we were, semi-surfer types and old car things. I still have my 1930 Woody.
No kidding, really?
Yeah, I have one.
Wow.
I actually know what that is, so
I wouldn't brag so much about that. Do you also have a car?
I do. I have a 1934 Plymouth, and I have a 1930 Woody.
Woody, yeah. Well, there are things you can do to fix that. Never mind. See, and that's the difference. That's the difference between East Coast and West Coast. But that's okay.
Yeah. Well, we were in Australia, and there's a bigger difference between the East Coast and the West Coast than there is between the West Coast and Australia.
Is that right? Yeah.
The buildings are English buildings, but the food is the same. The accent's different. But you go to Australia, they're all out surfing and
doing that kind of stuff.
That kind of eating out and doing outside stuff. So it's sort of what we were doing.
Well,
So
that's always the most interesting part for me, Pete, is, is like, the creative part, like how you guys, you said
right.
you started to get together and you started to write. Was it like just like, was it a conscious thing, or did it just kind of happen because that's what you needed to do or wanted to do?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is the if you want to listen to, say, if you want to listen to Down by the Old Mill Stream, what is the best way to hear it? A symphony orchestra or a barbershop quartet?
Right. Barbershop. Right.
Okay. So then you have to go, okay, so, but the problem is and was that most of the songs that were written around 1900 suck. I mean, if you say, I want a girl just like the girl that married dear old dad, you're going to get some fish eyes,
Right. Yep.
Like, okay, historically, in historic content, that's fine. But in a real content, so what we found was, if you move a little bit and you go up into, say, World War I, and up in that area, there's some really fabulous songs. So what we did was we said, okay, we sort of explored areas. And the first one we did was George Burns. So, and so we found all the George Burns stuff, and he was doing, where did you get that girl? And take her down to Coney Island, give her he was doing all those songs. And so we did him for a while, and then we did let's see, who else did we do? Oh, we did Eddie Cantor.
I was going to say the unforgettable and Eddie Cantor. Yeah, I was going to say Eddie Cantor, but yeah, okay.
And we did Von Tilzer, and what we did is Doug and I would go up to the UCLA library, old music library. And at the time they go, oh yeah, go back there and look at all that stuff. And so they'd have drawers full of like coon songs, and all these guys, like there was all, whatever minority you happen to be, there were songs making fun of you.
Yep.
And so we sort of went through this thing, and then we sort of ended up, and then we did World War I stuff, which is this is really cool. We're going to make the Kaiser goose step in ragtime. So we're going to get that stuff.
That's pretty cool.
And another one that we did one of my favorite ones was when let's see, the first thing, the chorus is, Johnny Doughboy went to France, his brain all in a whirl, then he learned a little French, and now he gets the girls. When Johnny Doughboy takes ragtime band or whatever.
Oh, that was that Johnny Doughboy found a rose? Is that the same song?
No, it's just an upbeat song. But
so it's different from that one. Okay.
So what we did was, we said, Johnny Doughboy went to Paris, brain all in a whirl, then he learned a little French, and then Dan stands and he says, no nous transpire pour une grande femme. And now he gets the girls, and like three people in the audience would be screaming hysterically. And what he said was, you don't sweat much for a fat girl. So, and a lot of the stuff, I was a lot of the stuff is like, I was talking to Clark Burroughs from the High-Lows, and he said they originally started off trying to be like Peanuts, you know, the cartoon.
Yes.
Sure.
And so they had a lot of stuff. So I always, we were always interested in musical jokes, and if
Sure.
nobody got them, it's okay. So, for example, when we were singing the New York medley thing, and we go, so
Down on the east side of Toity Toity and
yeah,
Toy.
right. So goodbye, farewell. And then I accidentally one time in rehearsal went so long, like on the third. So it was a baritone pickup on some absolute random note in the.
It's one of my favorite It's one of my favorite parts of that whole thing.
I know, it's hilarious. It's
Yeah.
hilariously funny, but nobody ever got it except we did. We thought it was really funny. Yeah. So we tried to make, you know, like doing a key change on the tag. You just do that because it's funny.
Yeah, but you realize now that's become like barbershop canon, that particular spot.
Yeah,
It moved from being an in joke to being, oh, that's how that's done. You know?
Right.
I suppose, I don't know, but mostly I think that the thing everybody is missing, well, you guys weren't, but what is the most important thing about barbershop quartet singing?
The
Fun.
baritone.
No.
Oh.
The most important thing, which is very important, is that it isn't important.
It's not
at
important.
all.
It's not important.
It's like grown-ups going, we're just going to play here. And no, we're just screwing around. And that's really important because we don't get to do that as adults. We're going, oh yeah, well, get all the stuff. And so we say, okay, this is just fun, joyous stuff. And if you can get the audience to do that for 20 minutes, okay, you've done your thing.
I love it. Well, real quick, while we're talking about 139 songs, we have a clip lined up here of one of my favorites. Let's go on ahead and take a look.
Okay.
Taxes here and there, taxes everywhere, taxes every place that they can be. Though I'm getting by, still I can't deny. There's a tax I know would ruin me, ruin me. I wrote my congressman a note and said, if you want my vote, I told them, don't put a tax on the beautiful girls. How can I live without love? You can tax my business and all that I own, but have a little pity, leave my pleasure alone. What'll I do on a beautiful night if I should happen to fall? Suppose that I'm about to kiss a beautiful maid. What if she discovers that my tax isn't paid? Don't put a tax on the beautiful girls, or I'll get no loving at all. Now, listen here. I was strolling out one evening by the silvery moon. I could hear somebody singing. He was singing a familiar tune. Such a tune. We're singing, don't put a tax on the beautiful girls. How can I live without love? You can tax my soda, my tonic and gin, but please don't tax my sin. What'll I do on a beautiful night if I should happen to fall? Now, if you have to put a tax on scandalous fans, let me be the guy who goes around with the stamps. Now listen, don't put a tax on the beautiful girls. where I'll get no loving at all. Oh yeah, I'll get no loving at all. At all.
And that was
Okay.
Don't Put a Tax on the Beautiful Girls, a
There's a
song that
couple-
I want to do someday.
Okay, there's a couple of things about that song.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, you were talking while that was on. You were talking about stage presence.
Yeah.
And, we had a whole stage presence routine, which, I mean, we did that little spin around thing that was added, but the thing was we did bookends. So Jimmy, if you take the end of the quartet and I'm standing one end and I raise up my hand like this,
Right. Then
the
he
guy
had
on the other end raises his hand up
the
like
other
that.
way. Yeah.
You get very big.
Yeah.
So we did bookends, so you can see that. So we'd do an in and we'd do an out, we'd do a left, we'd do a right. And so we just have these basic moves, so it doesn't look like stage presence, but
Right.
it actually is.
Well, and that, again, to remind people, that was back in the days when people were talking about, you've got to keep your fingers exactly this far and everyone has to walk this way. And quartets would be marching in the wings before they went on, remember?
Yeah.
I used to laugh my head off watching that.
I feel like that's before my time, but it sounds familiar.
What was the energy cube? Remember
The energy cube, the energy cube,
Oh,
yeah.
well, we did.
Oh, I've
we
heard about
had
that
our
recently.
own version of that. We had our own version of the energy cube, and we called it the energy sausage. And the only thing is, you had to make sure that the sausage went in the front of your pants, not in the back.
Oh, there you go. Wrong, it's the wrong energy.
And yeah, there's all this stuff in it. It's so fake looking, and it's so amateurish.
Yeah, it becomes so mechanical, right? It's mechanical.
But our stuff, we did have, because we'd say, okay, we're going to do an out here, we're going to in here. And the other thing that we did, which you don't ever see anybody do, is we looked at each other.
Listen, we're trying to encourage more of that, Pete. We, as a judge myself right now, I'm always telling people, there are other guys on. Why don't you acknowledge the other guys on stage and actually make contact? I mean, actually make eye contact when you're on stage.
I mean, barbershop quartets is the only time you can like put your arm around somebody and someone doesn't accuse you of being some sort of pervert. You can grab somebody, you can touch them, you can do all this stuff. Now, the other thing about that song that I wanted to tell you is at the end, it goes, or I'll get no love and at all. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah. Well, I have to jump up about, I don't know, 3 or 4 octaves. I have to do some sort of Ema Sumac routine to get there, because I have to go up to the 7th and Doug is on the
up on the tight.
Yeah, right. Because Larry didn't sing much above an E flat. So I basically, so I had to go from where I was and then I had to go, oh yeah, like that. And the coolest thing is if you listen to Gotcha doing it, Alan missed it.
Did he really? I need to watch. That's good. It's always good to have some Alan Gordon ammunition put to the side.
Sure, he missed it.
So as we were talking about this stuff, so we talk about all the particular songs and talk about the fact, was the vision kind of was it a joint thing? Was it just all of you together? I mean, was there a custodian of it that said, hey, this is what we are, or did it just kind of it was just kind of an organic kind of thing?
No, I think it was mostly stepping out and exploring some place. Like I said, so we went, the first one we did is, oh, George Burns. Let's go explore George Burns. I think we did 3 or 4 or 5 of his numbers.
Yeah.
And we did 3 or 4 or 5 numbers. And the last thing we were doing, which I thought was most interesting, was doing ragtime, because that fits into barbershop really well.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever done other than us. We did half a dozen sort of. So we did I'm Just Wild About Harry and
right, stuff like that. Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, because you're talking about all this like new stuff that you guys are doing. You said, okay, we're gonna try this. Was there ever like the thought in your head, oh, but what if people don't like it, or like did that ever even cross your mind?
no.
No, just not even a little bit.
I mean, if the thing is if I find it interesting, that's it. You know, if we find it interesting, okay. So if I said to you,
Okay.
okay, what I want you to do is I want you to take a scrap of paper,
Okay,
and a crayon, and I want you to draw a tree.
okay.
So you draw a tree. Fine. And I said, now what I'd like you to do is next to that, I want you to draw an isosceles triangle, like that, right?
Okay.
And on the top of it, I want you to put a star, and then when you put some little circles around on the bottom and two little parallel lines at the bottom.
Okay.
Okay, so what have you drawn? Christmas tree.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so what's the difference between those two things?
One of them's decorated.
No.
Oh.
The tree that you drew is art. It might be crap art, but it is art.
Sure.
And the other one is drafting.
Huh.
It's not art. You just did it because I told you to draw this and this and this and this. And that's my objection with coaching.
Huh.
But you know, coaching doesn't have to be that way, but a lot of ours is.
Yeah,
Mostly.
I've never thought about that.
It wasn't always. You look at, you know, in the very best ones like a Bob Godfrey or those kind of guys didn't coach like that. They kind of let the performers find, you know, what was going on and just encourage them in a way like a Broadway director might, you know, as opposed to the way we do it, which is, yeah, if it's very directed, do this, do this, do that. And I think of the late great Don Claus. You know, you could always know a Don Claus quartet because they did all the Don Claus things.
That's not art. That ain't art. So who was the famous coach? He coached Larry's quartet. He coached the Sundowners and
Earl Moon?
No. I'll remember in a second. Anyhow, so Larry, we went to international, and Larry said, hey, I want, Lyle Pilcher.
Oh, Lyle, okay, I was going to say Lyle.
So he goes, I want Lyle Pilcher to hear us, because we were and I'm going, yeah, okay, right. Yeah, Lyle, okay. So we get into this room, and we're standing, Jimmy, me, Larry, Doug, and Jimmy. And he's sitting about 2 centimeters. He pulls up a chair right in front of us. I mean, exactly in front of us, right? So we sing a song. We sing a song. And he looks at Doug and he says, more baritone. Doug just stands there, and then he like sort of yells at him. He says, I said more baritone. And Doug goes, I'm the tenor. And so I said, and when we left, I said, Pilcher is the Van Gogh of barbershop because he's lost his ear.
Okay. I think it was a Picasso because the whole picture is kind of drippy.
The Van Gogh of barbershop.
The Van Gogh of barbershop. That's great.
I'll take it.
So I, went through life making friends and people. So I have a lot of people who really hate me. Poor guy's dead now, but he hated me. And
well, it's you don't mince words. You never do. That's kind of interesting. Just back, The question that Zach, the questions you had about, how do you know, or whether did you ever worry about an audience? I was thinking of it like from my standpoint, from a comedy standpoint.
Right.
If we laughed about it,
Sure.
Right.
we thought that there was a good chance that the audience was going to laugh about it too. Like if we
Sure.
sat around laughing our heads off while we were doing it, there was a good chance that that was how it was going to work out. And it mostly did. Sometimes it didn't, but that's how comedy works.
I would, I think, everybody gets all uptight and stuff in front of audiences, but if the audience wasn't responding to us, I would a lot of times say, is this an audience or an oil painting?
Right.
And it kind of broke the.
Yeah, right. They kind of broke down that wall, didn't it?
So
Broke the tension, yeah.
So one time we were doing this show and Jimmy had said, hey, how come you guys never let me talk? And I said, because you don't prepare. So when I talked, I was like really prepared in what exact order everything went. And so he gets up and he tells this joke. And the joke is, the guy is, you probably heard this joke, and he says, one guy hands another guy a piece of paper, and he says, oh, we'd like to dedicate this to so-and-so's grandfather, who's 111. And then you take him back and they go,
No, that's not what
he
it is.
turns around and he goes, oh no, he's not 111, he's ill.
He's ill, yeah.
So Jimmy goes up, he tells his joke, he gets nothing, no laugh at all. He goes, well, gee, why weren't they laughing? I said, because you didn't say, oh, he isn't 111, he's ill. And so I said, you have to prepare for a joke. It's got to be this hard. It's got to be timed, and you have to do all these things.
There's a setup.
Yes.
Yeah. There's the beat. There's the delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. All of that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know how many times, Pete, I've been asked about, by people who aren't funny, how to be funny. It's hard.
Yeah, man. I ask him that all the time.
Well,
say what, but I'm bummed, man.
I think that what my advice is, just try to be interesting. So if you go up and just say, hi, everybody, how's it going? That's nothing.
Yeah.
It's really nice to be here. Yeah, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
That's like just wasting hours of people's lives.
I mean, I still remember what you said about quartets and about interesting. And it stuck with me like my entire barbershop life. And I don't know if you even remember it, but you talked about, will a group pass the remote control test, the TV remote control test?
That's it, right.
Right.
Well, I used a camera because it was before.
Yeah.
But that's it. If you take a camera and you look at a quartet and you go click, 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 and then you go back and you look at those pictures, everything should be a pose. Now, a pose can be anything,
Right.
but the only thing a pose isn't is standing on 2 feet with your hands at your sides. That only exists in the military. That doesn't exist anywhere else in the world.
I like that.
Right.
So
I thought you also, but didn't you also say like if you have if you're changing channels, right? If you're just watching TV and you're channel surfing and a barbershop quartet comes up, do you keep it on or do you watch it for 15 seconds and move on?
Well,
I remember you saying that, and it's very hard, right? How do you make it interesting for longer than that? And how often? I mean, that was essentially in fact, that was the exact joke that you guys delivered with Cheers. Was that joke, right?
which joke?
It's the joke that says, "I always wanted to be in a barbershop quartet." He sings for 10 seconds and said, "Okay, now I've done it."
Oh yeah, thanks for the memories.
Yeah,
Right. That's a terrific line.
yeah. But it's the
Yeah.
same. It's the same basic story. How do you make something? And I've said this even about like some of our very, very, very top champion quartets, and you've been on shows with them where you've been in situations where they haven't necessarily gone over as well as your quartet would. And a lot of it is the first song, the audience is going, wow. Second song, the audience is going, oh, that's pretty good. Ah. By the third song, they're going, yeah, well, now what?
Yeah. Right. Everyone's got some lead hanger at the end of the thing, and it's in the same key as the song before it. And we had a sort of a rhythm to our show.
Definitely.
And it sort of flowed in a particular. We changed songs all the time, but it started off with, okay, we're going to do a big tag on the first song, whatever the song is, got to have a big monster tag on it. Go, yeah. And then I guess we'd do Bach's Fugue or something like that after that. And then we do a solo, and then we do something else. And then we do it like a standard down by the old mill stream type barbershop thing. And then we do something else. We'd end up tap dancing, right?
Yes.
So, one time I was just talking to Jim Henry about this. I saw a week or so ago, and I said, we did a show with you guys, and we were on after you, it's before you'd won. And so we went off and we went up and we went, these guys just did us. They had the same ba-doom, 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 different songs, but it was like they had this, it's like, you guys just, and we went out there, we were not, they'd already seen it.
Right. That's a tough place to be, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so, but it was just, and I hadn't thought about it before, but there's a certain rhythm that you do, and you have a certain, certain act, and it goes in a certain direction. If somebody comes out, and so they came out and they did, I think they opened up with the Bowery Boys thing, and then they did something else, and then they did some fugue type.
Yeah, like William Tell Overture or something.
Yeah, whatever it was, and they did they did a solo, and it was all great stuff, You go, okay, can't follow it. So you just did what we do, which is fine. I mean, that was, I don't even know if they did it on purpose, but they had the same.
Well, the on purpose part is that there are things that work.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
So that's the on purpose part, But and so many of our quartets, and this is something that I've been talking to Zac about, because he's got a young quartet that's just developing with this stuff. Don't pay nearly enough attention to identity, and to all this kind of stuff, and to also pace, and to what you're trying to say, and the order you say it in, and the relationship with an audience that you try to establish, all that stuff.
But I think you have to be coming from someplace.
Sure.
Yep.
I get that.
Yeah, come from someplace. That's that's what you said to who was it? George Gipp came on here a little while ago and talked about you, and he said that one of the best things you ever said to the Cincinnati kids was, "What's your bag?"
I don't remember saying that, but
he remembers it. He remembers you saying it to him. So
they had a bag, and it worked.
Yep. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I always used to joke with them, is because you're on the circuit with them and being friends with them. I said they had a much higher quality of groupies than we had. That's for sure.
Yes.
We had all the guys. We had all the guys with the with the pencil protectors and the tape on the glasses. Hey, that song was really great.
Well, guys, on that note, we are at about time. I learned a lot. I hope everybody else did. Pete, is there anything you want to leave with the audience before we go?
Yeah. How many people were watching?
We got a few on.
Actually, I think there was at least one question, I think, out there, wasn't there?
Maybe last week.
No, was there not something? Because I think Marty he just pinged me to say that he put something in chat.
Not that I see.
Nothing.
Wait, maybe
that's
I'm wrong.
Marty Lovick. He's about as technologically advanced as you are.
You know what I wonder? Maybe he commented it. He did not. No.
No. Okay. Well. Never mind. There are people who are there were some people, and
Oh, yeah.
and then this also gets watched. It gets watched later
Mhm.
by a lot of
It doesn't matter, but I just vaguely. I mean,
yeah, you know,
like
we're
you guys, it's worth it.
just trying to build this stuff up as we go, you know,
Mhm.
and get more people interested in it. For me, I just try to get people I know who are friends and who I think are interesting.
Well, it's nice to chat, you know.
As always,
Right
always.
on. Well, thanks for being on, Pete. I appreciate
Thanks,
you.
Okay.
Joe, let's do some
Say
closing
hi to
stuff real
Jimmy.
quick.
Okay. Yes.
We have got a show coming up in 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Look at
3
that.
weeks.
December 10th, 11th, and 12th. All the information's on our Facebook page. There's you can get your tickets from our website, southerngatewaychorus.org, or southerngateway.org. I should know our website. And all that's on there if you got to go find that stuff. Also, Joe, tell what happens in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, we are going to be having Tom Shalhoub on the live feed, and we'll talk a little bit about the bigger world of stand-up comedy, and also, you know, singing with the ragtime gals and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, man, we got a lot going on. Make sure you're there in 2 weeks from now. Make sure you tell all your friends, and you've got 2 weeks to do it because next week there will not be a stream.
Somehow, you know, there's this family thing that comes up, and this whole
I know,
turkey
right?
nonsense, and
It's ridiculous.
So-
Our entire tech staff is going on vacation next week. How crazy is
we're
that?
allowing our families to drag us away from this.
Ugh. Barbershop's more important than family.
Well, in your case, your whole family is barbershop.
That's a
isn't
very
it? I
good
mean,
point,
your
actually.
family is it's barbershop.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for this week. And until next week, my name is Zach Holman.
I'm Joe Hunter.
And on behalf of the Southern
And
Gateway
again, thanks,
Chorus,
Pete, and
hope you all have a great week. And
thanks.
happy
Bye-bye.
Thanksgiving.